Now, of course, that journey has to begin somewhere. And for some of us, I think parents pretty nervous about our kids starting school, for some tomorrow. But I think a lot of kids going back to school now, and they're going to need that energy, that platform to launch themselves through their day. And a balanced breakfast becomes imperative, serving as literally the fuel that not only boosts our cognitive function, but is also going to help our kids maintain their optimal energy levels, which is essential for learning, for socializing, for playing, which are all equally important in young people's lives. And here to serve us some healthy advice on how to feed our kids the most nutritious breakfasts, get that balance right, is registered dietitian and our good friend, Kath McGaw. Kath, how are you?
Good, and you?
Very good, thanks. Brand new year, lots of little ones to empower, lots of parents to empower, because it is a team effort. We've spoken about this a lot, and I think I've been on this massive kind of calorie journey, trying to understand what breakfast is, what our calorie load is, how much energy do we need, and then trying to apply that same logic to my kids, and understanding that their slate is so clean. They start almost with a fresh slate every day. They need the energy, they need the breakfast. Why is that so important?
Well, I think the reality is breakfast is breaking the overnight fast. So, and kids generally go to bed early, and so they have a long gap between supper and the next morning, and then they go off to school. It's a challenge because it's so early. Often these children have to wake up, get fed, get dressed. It's a rush in the morning, and so it can be a big challenge.
What happens if we don't get it right? I know a child can kind of supplement with a snack every now and then, but if they're not getting that rhythm and that kind of, that they themselves aren't embracing that, what are the dangers of not having a good breakfast?
So the risks is obviously that the brain needs the fuel for energy, and in order to function and be cognitively awake and aware of what's going on in the learning environment, they need that fuel for the brain. And even a child waking up saying, I'm not hungry, is realistic in that they don't feel hungry until they start to eat. So sometimes giving them a little bit of water just to wake up their stomach and just to let their brain realize that they actually need something will elicit hunger and make breakfast that much easier to serve.
And we're not giving them a full English every morning. Maybe they can have that on a Sunday. We don't want to give them a meal that's so big that it's drawing energy to process it. You don't want them sitting there all lazy in class because they're still processing 100 grams of protein in their belly. We need that balance right. What is a well-balanced breakfast in your mind?
So definitely include in one of your dairy products if your child can tolerate dairy. So for example, yogurt is wonderful for breakfast with a bit of fruit, so something fresh with good nutrition and vitamin C. A good healthy grain that you can incorporate, so a good like oats porridge, for example, cooked with some milk, so you've got the protein from your milk. You could have some children like more finger food at breakfast, so you could do like cheese slices alongside some fruit as well. Some children struggle with chewing and they're just so slow getting to their through their breakfast. You might want to give them a smoothie, and then you can incorporate yogurt and fruit and all those good nutrition in a smoothie. It's quicker, it's easier to drink, and it's often more appealing in the morning.
And with those kind of finger foody, snacky foods or a shake, something like that, they can build it themselves, which often gets them to do it if they're invested. We've spoken a lot about being mutually invested in the process so that they want to kind of enjoy the outcome. What should we avoid? What are some no-nos early in the morning or first thing for our children?
Well, you want to avoid your sugary products. Anything with high sugar is going to cause them to have this rise and then drop them just at the time where their brains need to activate in the learning process. So I would really caution from very refined starches, very sugary starches early on in the morning.
Nothing too processed. If you can keep it whole food, do that. A little bit of the things that they love is a good way of hiding the stuff that they need to have.
And I think also planning. So breakfast is easier when it's planned the night before. So if you're going to, don't negotiate in the morning with a child that's barely awake. Rather do it the night before. So we're going to plan your breakfast for tomorrow. What's it going to look like? These are the choices you can choose from. let them pre-plan it so that
sure.
the next morning they get there aware of what's going to be in front of them.
And I love that because it becomes a safe option for them. It
Exactly.
becomes something that they're prepped for. I think kids, you often struggle with them with that negotiation, and I think that's parenting 101. So thanks for that little reminder, not just when nutrition comes into play, but all the time. You've got to manage that balance. Oh, thank you so much. I'm sure we're going to speak to you a lot over the coming months, certainly over the coming weeks. I know it's a busy time for you. So good luck, all the best for 2024. Thank you for that plug-in. Hopefully you guys have taken something out of that. And the bottom line is just finding that balance, I think. So you want to stock your pantry with the right staples, then breakfast will become a breeze. I love the idea of planning the night before and involve your child. And of course, with Clover in your corner, they've got an extensive range of some really yummy cheeses, milk yogurts, which are really easy and nutritious. And they've got some great drinks that are going to give a variety to your child, which I think helps a lot. So it's going to create a new and nutritious menu that will fuel your kids with all the right kind of goodness to conquer the school days with confidence, because we want them to go out and conquer.